In Chicago, it's official. Kyler Murray active. DeAndre Hopkins active. We kind of were alluding to it on Friday, but it's official here on Sunday morning. We're just a couple minutes away from the Cardinals' potential 7th road game or win of the season. Let's get into it. Let's break it down, but more, let's just celebrate.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Itchy trigger finger there for me. I went right into the open, but excited. Everybody's excited to finally have their franchise quarterback back in the lineup for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm back. That's basically what Kyler Murray said. Did he take it from Cam Newton? Did he take it from Arnold Schwarzenegger? I don't care. He's just back in the lineup. So is DeAndre Hopkins. We'll see if he's on some sort of a snap count with the hamstring injury. But look, this is exciting. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be at full strength coming off their bye week. Best record in the NFL at 9-2. They're 7-1 with both of their stars in the lineup this season. And just look to kind of get it back in the lineup and acclimated as they got a big game coming up against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. Alex, is the key to this contest now? Don't get caught looking too far forward.
It's the key to victory now is get the ball out of Kyler Murray's hands early, as we talked about. If Kyler were to play, this is what needs to happen. And number two, run the ball and play defense. Like, you could look at it one of two ways with the weather being crappy at Soldier Field in Chicago. One, oh no, you don't really want Kyler Murray coming back off an injury to play on a slippery surface, when it's raining and, weird things happen in the rain. Or number two, it's like you're going to have to force the Cardinals offense to run the ball and eat clock and not take too many risks. I don't know which side you want to take it on, but the key to victory is to, just take care of business, play defense, stop David Montgomery, and run the ball effectively. And more importantly than anything, protect Kyler Murray via getting the ball out of his hands quickly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Get in there, be efficient as possible, rack up a couple scores early on. If they're a little rusty coming out of the gates, that's fine. They've got the defensive player of the month on the other side of the football and Robert Quinn, but that's pretty much it for the Bears. And then on the other side for them offensively, the Red Rifle. I know he had over 300 yards passing against the Detroit Lions, but against this defense, Arizona Cardinals defense should eat against Andy Dalton and crew.
Yeah. Last time we saw him was in Dallas. Kyler Murray completed 9 passes, and I think it was 9 for 25, and the Cardinals won handily in the big Dallas. This is one, and I talked about this before the season started, midway through the season. This could be a hiccup game for them, but I think where the chips have kind of fallen at this point, Justin Fields on the shelf, the whole defense injured, that we talked with Lauren Cox about in our crossover on Thursday, that the Cardinals should win this game pretty handily. Don't get any more injuries, and ride off into the rest of the season, because this is the last cold weather game the Cardinals are going to have to play unless they have to go through the 1 seed in Lambeau with Green Bay later in the season.
Yeah, and it's going to be gnarly out there. And you're right. That is nice to see that if you take care of business today, you have the opportunity to not have to play one of those gnarly games in the postseason, as you mentioned. You don't have to potentially go to historic Lambeau Field and take on the Packers, who are undefeated at home, or all the way across the country, take on your former coach and the greatest quarterback ever to lace them up in his home field where they're undefeated, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I see Fender saying that Kyler Murray is going to be rusty. Also, keep in mind, though, I think the way that the Arizona Cardinals played this, despite the weather and the time, the kickoff, might be the biggest things that are playing against them. But it's been, 38 days? This is the 38th day since Kyler Murray hasn't had to really exert himself physically since the Thursday night football game. And he should be ready to roll. Think about it as it's another season opener for him, because he's always been pretty fantastic in season openers. So it's not like he knows this offense. He knows what to expect. He's rested up. I don't expect too much rust, actually, from K1.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they figure out an offensive scheme to where it's not, hurry up. Like, you know what? We're not going to let the weather stop us. We're not going to let Kyler Murray not playing for over a month stop us. We're just going to be hard-headed and just go try to run hurry-up offense in the cold and crappy weather in Chicago. Methodical, long, sustained drives. I know normally it's like when there's a really good quarterback on the opposing squad, their best defense is to keep him off the field. it's kind of the same here, just to kind of get momentum back on offense with the two best players they have on offense back on the roster. I'm hoping that they can run the ball 35 times today. I'm hoping that James Conner and Eno Benjamin can run the ball effectively, because if they can, then this is going to be not only a W for the Cardinals, but also have less stress on Kyler Murray after his first week back.
Right.
You know,
No,
I mean,
I don't know if I want him to run that much because, look, we are pretty much, if the reports are true, Chase Edmonds could return to his lineup next week. This is the last game where you really have to ride James Conner. You want to keep those touches down potentially in this contest, so he can continue to be the player that he's having his bounce back season for the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, the 13 rushing touchdowns, but the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, not only does it put one of the most dominant receivers back in your lineup, but it puts the other receivers in the lineup back in the position to where they can be the most successful. AJ Green as the wide receiver 2 on the outside. Christian Kirk being that slot receiver, and he's in contract year. He's been so successful there. And then, of course, Rondale Moore, who's been pretty quiet the last couple games. I mean, all those guys can feast, because now the primary focus of the Bears defense, especially in the defensive secondary, goes on Nuke.
well, yeah, and the interesting part is a lot of times rosters will have wide receiver ones and possession receivers. You know, there's very few guys that are elite wide receivers that are also possession receivers. The Cardinals happen to have 2 of them in AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, you're right. AJ Green will have a lot less double coverage, a lot less shadowing from safeties today with DeAndre Hopkins back. This will open up stuff for Christian Kirk, for Rondale Moore. I'm really curious to see, because what we've seen was Rondale Moore early in the season got a leg up on all the rest of the rookie wide receivers. He's kind of fallen back into the pack now, where Jamar Chase and Elijah Moore has really come on with New York. And Rondale Moore, even though he had 11 catches their last game, it was for less than 65 yards. Mm-hmm. Let's see if they can use him as a weapon, especially with, as you mentioned, the opposing bookend to AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins back. Their offense is at full strength now with Chase Edmonds coming back next week. Let's see if they can start to gain some momentum as they, you know, make their playoff push to solidify their position as potentially the 1 seed in the NFC, and really show the NFL again that their offense may be the most terrifying in football. And that's including the Chiefs, and that's including other teams in the AFC.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I saw it was on last Sunday. It was the Bay Buccaneers, and they were talking about how they're the number 1 offense in the league. It's like, well, they're the number 1 offense in the league because Kyler Murray's been on the shelf the last 3 weeks. I mean, 4 weeks if you count the bye week. So this is going to be an opportunity for them to get back on track. Do you see it more as an opportunity for this team to tweak some things, to start to gear up for the postseason run, or to just get these 2 guys reacclimated?
Yeah, slow and steady, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just take what the defense gives you. Cliche number 1. Can't put the cart before the horse. Cliche number 2. You know, whatever you want to put in here. Let's just chill it out. And I see Eddie Boy saying that Zach Ertz is the man today. This is something that you bring Zach Ertz in for. Tight ends are very, very prevalent in cold weather games because they're a run straight turnaround kind of guy. And Zach Ertz is, I think, still a tight end 1 in this league. He's got to be a top 12 tight end in this league with how much talent has dropped off. So yeah, I mean, I could see, I'm starting Zach Ertz in my fantasy league today over a couple running backs because I think he's definitely good for a touchdown today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you look at how the Bears can be, you know, effective and maybe stay in this game with the Arizona Cardinals, I mean, you look at the other offense. David Montgomery, we've mentioned Andy Dalton, who's getting the start. Nick Foles is the backup, so Justin Fields isn't even in the equation at all with the rib injury. So that's all a plus for the Arizona Cardinals. The wide receiver core, anybody strike fear into your heart that could be a nuisance to the Arizona Cardinals today?
I mean, Darnell Mooney is going to be a household name at some point, but he's really the only guy. Cole Kmet has shown flashes. It's going to be David Montgomery. David Montgomery might get Christian McCaffrey touches, whether it be catching the ball in the backfield or running the ball. He's their best player, and the Cardinals need to be able to stop him. You know, and they've had trouble stopping these guys before. So I know he's not a wide receiver, but he's going to get a lot of action out of the backfield.
Right. And you have to avoid one of those starts. I mean, they have to do what they've done all season long, where they've set the tone and they've been able to kind of, because they've had such a lack of success against the running game, the opposing running game, that they've been able to kind of take it out of the equation. They've been able to kind of either cause some early 3-and-outs, put some points up on the board, and then the other team is chasing a lead all of a sudden, and they can't, hand the ball off as much as they'd like to. That's what they have to do. Only one team's really been successful in taking them out of that game plan, maybe two with the Minnesota Vikings, but the Carolina Panthers absolutely did. Arizona Cardinals need to just avoid that. I don't care if you have Kyler Murray back in the lineup. I don't care if you have DeAndre Hopkins. That's just how you play winning football. You impose your will on them. You set the tone and how you want to play, and the Arizona Cardinals have been able to do that for the most part during this 9-2 start to the season, looking to go 10-2, also looking to go 7-0 on the road, which is unbelievable for the Arizona Cardinals at this point. And then a big game against the Los Angeles Rams. I saw this stat, Alex. Matthew Stafford, 9-70 against winning teams in his career.
Well, this is a Locked on Cardinals opening pod. That's nothing to do with the Los Angeles Rams. We always like to throw shade where we can. We've shifted from the 49ers to the Rams, and Bo's leading the charge. Like, Bo's usually the sweet one, not with this stuff. The NFC West shade, that is all Bo. Bo is the president of that fan club, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So he's going to have to play another winning team on Monday Night Football, regardless of what happens today. It's going to be a fun one. We're a couple minutes away from kickoff at Soldier Field. Any more little fun facts? I mean, pretty much just getting back to neutral for the Arizona Cardinals, getting their stars back in the lineup. It feels like forever since we talked to you, even though it was Friday. But, we'll see, DeAndre Hopkins. And there was the report, absolutely, I see that, about DeAndre Hopkins. And then Kyler Murray, there was the team that posted on all their social channels the I'm back statement, basically from K1. So we'll see about DeAndre Hopkins. But let's get into it. Let's enjoy this game. Halftime show. We've got it coming your way as we do each and every game here on Locked on Cardinals. We'll talk to you as soon as the teams head to the locker room for about 13 to 14 minutes, and then of course our post-game knee-jerk reaction show, and then our podcast. We'll have, of course,
one quick thing here, Bo.
Huh?
Kyler Murray has not played an NFL snap in 903 hours.
Wow.
There's your math. He's probably going to be as fresh as he's ever going to be coming off a high-ish ankle sprain. So let's see what he's got.
Yep, let's see what he's got. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Hopefully the Arizona Cardinals put it away before halftime, and we can be talking about how they're back in just contention mode, after weathering the storm for a long time, for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Bo, Brack, Alex Clancy. Follow us on Twitter at Bob Brack, at Clancy's Corner, at Locked on AZ Cards. We'll talk to you at halftime. Enjoy the first half.